Hello, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. I'm joined by Steph today. We're going to be talking about the psychology of franchise buyers.
We are.
Nice.
I know.
Well, let's get started. So what did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about the psychology of buyers.
Okay. What is it?
So, like, when it comes to, like, trying to find the right kind of people, when I first started in marketing, any kind of marketing, you'd kind of speak to a client and they would be like, I want to showcase what I do, my brand, my product, whatever. And I'd be like, okay, who are you targeting? Everyone. It doesn't quite work like that. Otherwise, like, you're just kind of spraying lots of bullets and hoping to hit a target, and you never hit a target. It's like the particle of light thing. It just doesn't work. So the whole psychology of the franchise buyer is understanding who it is that you're actually targeting, rather than just doing so general that you hit nobody.
So how do you go about working out what that psychology is? Like, is that a massive undertaking, or is that can that be?
It doesn't have to
simple?
be. I mean, it does require some thought and consideration. So it requires that element of, like, a lot of the time it's worth looking at the franchisees that you've got in the network, especially those who are at the top tier, the top level, because those are the kind of people you want to attract in the network. So if you've got, like, someone that is on an excellence, you want more of that person. So you kind of start from there. That's a good starting point. And you look at, elements of what were they doing before? What drives them? What's their motivation for, like, their future goals, their future plans? Some people want to build a good retirement pot. Some people want to give their families a really good life. So there are various reasons. You've got people who want to buy the house of their dreams and have the car of their dreams.
That seems to be like a massive thing when I first started. It was like, oh, you could have like a speedboat and living on a yacht or whatever.
Yeah, I've not seen many with a speedboat. But it is, like, things have changed. Like, over the last, like, I've been in franchising now for 8 years. And things have changed. Like you said, that element of wanting the speedboat, wanting the big car and all that, that's not there anymore. People want the quiet, like I've been doing some research, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a drive to go back to the analog lifestyle.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, I'm starting to do that myself, aren't I?
Same. So there's that's a big driver for a lot of people, having the freedom financially to be able to do things like I do pottery. That's not a cheap hobby.
No.
And it's things like that. Like, people start off by going on hikes and, like, doing the free stuff. But to have the real quality of life that people want, and having the freedom to be able to live and do the things that you really want to enjoy. Like, I want to get to a stage where I have a pottery studio in my garden in the shed. That's like a 5-year goal.
Yeah.
So there are people who have these kind of analog goals, and that's the psychology. That's what's going to drive them. That's what's going to motivate them, is how they can actually attain the life that they want, rather than just kind of doing the grind of the 9 to 5 and working for someone else and having to do things for other people. So the first aspect of the psychology is, like, the motivation, the mindset, the driver. And it's understanding, like, how to get them from the life they're in to the life they want. And that's the kind of the gap in the middle, where the marketing steps in as, like, you focus on the pain points. In order to focus on the pain points, you need to understand what the pain points are, which means talking to your franchisees, talking to other people, doing the research, looking at what's around. So, yeah, there's quite a lot that can be involved, and it's worth investing the time in.
So how do you go about, like, investing that time? How do you go about asking your franchisees that, if they've been with you for years and years and years? How do you go back and go, like, what were you doing before? Like, how do you sort of start that conversation?
So, in theory, the information should already be there, because you should have already had those kind of conversations. But it's a case of kind of, like, maybe going back and reading through content that you already have, but also just taking the franchisee for a coffee or something and just, like, chatting to them do you remember back in that time, like what was it that tipped you over the edge that made you invest in the franchise? What are your drivers now?
Yes, stuff would have changed.
Yeah, things would have changed within them, whether they've been a franchisee for a year, whether they've been a franchisee for 20 years. There'll still be drivers that are kind of relevant for who you want to attract now. And it's important, like, talk to franchisees, talk to the people in the network, talk to other franchisors as well. That's like, you know, that's quite a valuable tool. I know that there's one of our clients and they're part of a cohort of franchisors, and they will share information. They'll have these kind of conversations. What's driving people now? What's working? What are the trends? How can we improve marketing? How can we improve our franchise brand? Conversation is so important. It's not about trying to do it on your own. It's it's that kind of thing.
I've got an answer to how you would get that information from someone, and it's my answer to everything.
Go on then.
Video.
So you
can get content off the back of it as well. So if you interview them for video, asking about what they did before, and getting testimonials from them, then you've got content and the answers you want.
Yeah, exactly. But do you find that sometimes people are... So I would agree with that, obviously, because we use a lot of video content for clients. But sometimes I find that when you have a conversation away from the camera, people are less...
Yeah, so I've seen this, so there's some franchises that I've done the testimonials, and I've been the one behind the camera.
Yeah.
But the ones, there's someone I worked with last year who did it really well because she got behind the camera herself. Do we say her name? Everyone will know who she is. Sarah Krezel. So she got behind the camera and was just asking the questions. Mm-hmm. And because she kind of knew who the franchisees were, she knew what questions to ask. And then she would ask the horrible, like, gnarly questions as well, like the negative stuff that they've been through. Like, even like how long it took for them to earn their money back, the troubles they'd had, the problems they'd had. Whereas I'd be maybe a bit more afraid to ask that. Whereas she was like, no, like, you need to know that.
I wouldn't.
And for a potential franchisee as well, that they want to know, like, what are the pitfalls and what are the things to worry about with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they can see people have had that and worried about it and been through it, then it makes it more authentic
and come
as well.
through it. And
I think that came up in your notes when I was reading it as well.
Yeah,
like,
It is. It's about, when I first started, everyone just seemed to have like this rosy picture. Yeah. And I'm like, no, but there are like challenges, and I would want to know what the challenges are. I don't want the pretty picture. I want like the hard, gritty facts. Yeah. Because I want to know the fullness of what I'm stepping into. And like, we're not going to name the brand, but do you remember like when we started to do some videos with one brand and they had like a script to follow, and it was like...
Yeah.
But that's...
They know who they are.
Yeah, they know who they are. But that's developed, and franchisees are more relaxed and more comfortable because they're speaking from...
Yeah, we've gone from terrified franchisees sat in front of the camera trying to remember a script to you were on the camera with them talking to them, and like they were just like, it was just a conversation. Yeah. And it felt so much real and so much better and like... Authentic. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there's different ways of doing it.
There are different ways of doing it. We don't get the terrified expressions and they're like, oh, no, I forgot to say that line. But, yeah, it's the way that you do the video, the way you have the conversation.
Yes, even like the psychology of like behind the camera, in front of camera. Yeah. If you go in front of the camera with them, it's just like it's a joint thing rather than I am asking you questions.
Yeah, because we've seen that as well with franchisees who are doing a piece to camera on their own, but when they've got another franchisee with them, because you get like they both seem to relax and they both have this conversation and they pull out things that they wouldn't say if they were on their own. So even that is a valuable way to kind of understand the franchisee psyche, the mindset, and for people to see the banter in the relationship. Because we talk a lot about the network relationships, but when you can see it on camera, it's a big, powerful indicator that we don't just talk a talk, it's genuine.
You can see it in person when you go to like the conferences and stuff, the way the franchisees interact with each other. They're all kind of mates.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what other things should franchisors be looking out for in terms of like the psychology of potential buyers?
I think it's important to, so we kind of touched briefly on the pain point element.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do with clients is we look at what's happening culturally, what's happening economically, what's happening in the news, because that will have an impact on people's mindsets and decision-making processes as well. So we saw last year, like the budget, tariffs, all that kind of stuff. Wonderful stuff.
Like, it's a never-ending flow of terrible news, isn't it?
So, for businesses, it's so bad. It's so frustrating. But it was kind of like, it was important for franchises to talk about it. So we did a couple of pieces for a couple of franchise brands where we spoke about those things, the tariffs. Like, one of our clients works in logistics. So we had to talk about the tariffs, about sending things into America, because that was big news. If we'd have not done that, that doesn't help the brand, because it looks like they're not being authentic.
Yeah, if you're avoiding certain conversations.
Yeah. You've got to have those conversations that are impacting the industry, because people watching who are looking for a franchise, they're going to be looking, okay, I'm aware of this, but that brand's not talking about it, but that brand is, so therefore they'll
trust the one that's talking about the horrible stuff.
Yeah. You know, again, when I first started, there were so many brands that were like, oh no, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
you kind of need to.
Yeah, if you're only talking about the good stuff and glossing over the bad stuff, you're missing a trick.
So much. You're missing out on so much, because people are aware. People are watching the news.
Yeah.
So they're more aware, especially if they're looking for a franchise or looking for a business. They're probably more aware than most of the franchisees in the network, because they're at that decision-making process. And it's so crucial to talk about those things rather than hiding from it.
One of the things I've sort of heard from some quite big franchises as well is that they, like, once the franchisee is in, they've kind of got a responsibility for the franchisee, because that's a person, they've got family, and they've got to help them to sort of, like, grow their business.
Yeah.
So does that vary from franchise to franchise? Like, I'm guessing it does. Like, there's some franchises, I think, that were just like, they want to get numbers and they don't care who it is.
Yeah.
So how, like, why does that matter, that you're trying to get that relationship with people and, like, build that?
Because people buy from people.
Yeah.
So the brands that we tend to work with, especially from the side that I do with the more traditional marketing, we tend to work with the brands that do invest in their relationship and do invest not just in, like, franchisees who are starting, but they'll invest in the top tier franchisees as well, and kind of pushing them from, because you get to that point where you kind of almost reach a stagnant growth. I mean, you're a business owner, you might like experience this, where your business seems to get to a certain point, and then you're like, I'm not growing, nothing's happening. And so you need that push to go to the next level. Yeah. So we work with brands that do that. They'll invest in all of their franchisees throughout the life cycle, even to the point when it comes to the exit, business exit. And I think that's so important, because people need to know at every stage. There are times when franchisees are like, I've got it, I know what I'm doing, I'm fine. And that's great, because it means that business coaches and support can kind of focus on the ones that are struggling a little bit. But every franchisee at every stage needs that support. And I think it's so important psychologically. Like, you get to a point, like, I'm in my 40s, and there are still times when I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And I have to go to someone for advice. You have to, otherwise you're just kind of floundering and, you know.
Just to bounce new, like, ideas off someone.
Exactly.
Is important. Yeah,
having that sounding board, having that, you know, that person that you can be like. So I'm quite a visual person. I am not numbers orientated at all. Like, I created something last year, and I can do the pretty stuff, the creative, and put it into publishing and get it printed and stuff. I don't know how to kind of put it to the next level, because that's not how my brain works. Yeah. But I can get advice from people who know how to do the numbers and know how to go from this level to this level. And that's what you need. You need those people around you that you can trust, who will have the mindset that you know is akin to yours, iron sharpens the iron, and being able to kind of pull ideas from them so that you can get to that next step or feel more confident. Or if there's stuff happening in the news that's affecting your industry, you can get that support and be like, are you worried about what's happening there? Are you worried about what she said in the news? And people can be like, yeah, or, well, I was, but this is how I'm going to do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we saw that a lot over the last couple of years, like over the last 5 years particularly. So it's so important to have those brands and those franchises that not just talk a good talk about building relationships and supporting their franchisees, but you can physically see it and you can tell the stories. And that's the important thing, is the storytelling.
Yeah.
Like being able to tell the stories. Like we did something last year for one of our clients. They had a franchisee that bought a resale and took it from this level to this level. And then a couple of years ago, they were like, we're going to exit the business because need to move away to the Southern Hemisphere. And so the franchisee worked with them quite closely to kind of build it and secure it and to have the business in such a way that it was presentable for a new franchisee to kind of see what's happened.
Yeah.
And they worked really closely. And even when they exited the business, so they had all the support all the way through. They had a couple of issues early on, and the business coaches were like, this is how we're going to deal with it. Like, this is our advice. And they took the advice on, resolved the issue. To the point where the relationship was so tight between them that even though they've left the franchise and have moved away, they're still in communication with the franchisor and still have that relationship and still contact them for advice and information. So, and that's the thing, like, someone is investing in their business, but they're also like their life.
It's their people,
It's their life, it's their people, it's their hearts. And when someone needs to make a decision quickly, then they had the support around them at the time.
That's like pretty wrenching, isn't it? It's like uproot everyone and everything and just go.
Yeah.
Because they had to.
Yeah.
And then like they've got staff they had to think about. That they had to sort of leave pretty much overnight.
Yeah. But they still won awards at the last convention, so it shows that the business, because they had the support of the franchisor, the business didn't flounder during that intermediary stage.
Yeah, wow. It could have done.
Exactly. Yeah, so many would have gone under or just kind of like dropped.
What do we do now kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in terms of like communicating to potential franchisees, like who they're looking for, how do you recommend they go about doing that?
So once you've identified who your target audience is, so if you're going to be talking to a female in their 40s or a male in their 60s, or if you're trying to attract Generation Z, they're all different people and they all have different ways in which you communicate with them. Like the way someone would attract me is not the same way they would attract you. Like we're on different levels. You're interested in film and Doctor Who and like, I'm not. So it's understanding, once you understand who it is you're talking to, you can then talk to that person. And you can talk to them in a way that they get it. So talking to Generation Z at the moment, and even like a couple, like even like all generations, like we were talking about the analog.
Yeah.
It's talking to them in such a way that they can see, and not just kind of, you're not just talking to talk, but they can see it in action. And you've worked out what's going to appeal to them. You've worked out what their pain points are. Now you need to understand how to talk to them and how to communicate. Are they attracted by words? Are they attracted by images? Are they attracted by video? You want to use all of those things in your content, but you need to kind of do it in a different way. And obviously, like, social media has changed so much that you can't just put a blanket post that's the same on Instagram, the same on Facebook, same on LinkedIn. You've got to think differently about stuff. And so it's like using each platform to talk to the actual person that you're talking to. And imagine that person, like build a picture of them, like have a photo of like, this is person A, this is person B, person C, outline everything you can about them. Are they a homeowner? How many holidays do they go on a year? Do they like going on spa days rather than holidays, or do they prefer activity, or like, you know, what's attracting them? And then once you've done that, you can kind of look at your franchisee network and be like, right, this person would attract this kind of target person. This person would attract this person. This group of people would attract this. And then using them and their story and quotes and their activities and what they're doing, use that, because people will buy from people.
Yeah.
And there's no point in kind of like being all like really wide and general. We need to get specific. And part of the research that I've been doing is that people are spending less time on social media, because obviously they're chasing this analog thing. They're spending less time on social media, but the same amount of content is still going out there. And the word that's being used is slop. There's a lot of slop.
Well, it's going to be even more, isn't there? Like,
so much. Yeah. I mean, even like for me, I stopped going on some of them. So I rarely go on LinkedIn, hardly ever go on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't go on Facebook.
Facebook's dead.
No, I didn't go on Facebook at all over Christmas because it's only on my computer. So I didn't really go on my computer. And I came on, I had like 2 notifications, and it was just like...
Exactly.
So-and-so tagged you and everyone in this thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was someone's birthday.
Exactly. Social media is not social anymore. It's become like quite intense, and people are no longer spending time, which means that when we're doing marketing, when we're using social media, we need to be so much more succinct, so much more direct, so much more targeted, that when someone is spending time on social media, if they do come across your content, that it will attract them.
Yeah.
Rather than just keep scrolling. And unfortunately, I don't know if you've seen it, but most things seem to be like adverts and businesses, and like especially Facebook. I hate Facebook, which is why I don't go on it so much anymore. Instagram, there's still the occasional, but you tend to get content from people you're following rather than just random stuff. So it's making sure that what we're doing is relevant, authentic, can stand out from the slop.
Yeah.
And those are like the key issues.
I do think the best stuff will stand out from the slop.
Yeah.
And and I think there will be good content that's generated with AI, but there will be there'll be like 90% absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
That doesn't really need to be made, but like it's just being made.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to find out, like, if someone was I was use both of us as a case study.
Okay.
Like, how would someone like build trust with you, and how would you is there any brands that you've connected with recently that you feel like you've got a bit of a relationship?
That's quite interesting. So I am a sucker for a story.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Because I was going to say similar.
Oh, really? So I'm an absolute sucker for a story. So there's 2 brands in particular that come to mind when you ask that. One is like an outdoor clothing brand, and I watched them for months, and they talked about like the reason why they set up their business. They're not in franchising, but like the owners they'd lost their parents in the tsunami. They're British, but their parents had kind of taken them out of school, were homeschooling them.
Oh, right, yeah.
They were in India at the time, lost their parents and a sibling, I think. So they set up a business that started off just making flip-flops, and they would use the profits to support children in orphanages. They set up orphanages. That story was just like, I love that story.
Yeah, nice.
So I watched them for a while, and they started to develop like clothing. Obviously, I do hiking and stuff. So I was like, if I buy something from them, I'm investing in people.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying a lot of stuff. And it's just like because I felt like I was doing good, even though I couldn't physically be in somewhere like India, and it's never on my
But then by
bucket
wearing
list.
that product, people that know the story are like...
Yeah, people have asked me, I've never come across that brand
Yeah.
before. Oh, you need to check them out because, you know.
Yeah.
So that was one brand. And then the other one is more recent. So that was about 5 years ago. The other one is more recent. So I came across them about 6 months ago. And I've been watching them for a while. and they just do like a single piece of jewelry is all I was seeing. And it talks about how storms in life come and they may bend you, but they won't break you. And I'm like, I can so relate to that. So relate to that. And so I kept seeing this ring appearing. I bought it yesterday because it was just like, because it hits.
But you keep interacting with that as well. You'll keep seeing more of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's something about it that's...
Exactly. It appealed to... So the first one appealed to my sense of wanting to do good in the world and to leave... My philosophy is I want to leave people in a better place than when I first encountered them.
Yeah.
I want to be someone that is inspirational, that is impactful, that people kind of like, when you spend time with me in whatever capacity, that you kind of go away feeling that was good. That was a good half hour. That was a good 10-minute conversation. That was good, whatever. So you better say that after this. And that, the first brand really appealed to my sense of wanting to do good and to be a good person, and obviously being a Christian as well, I've got that element. The second one appealed to the fact that I've been through storms, and it was more personal, it was more relatable, it kind of connected to me. I started to see people wearing it and people kind of talking about their own stories, and I'm like, that's kind of what works with me. Is like that personal connection. Yeah. It relates to my life. It relates to what I've experienced, and I can see myself wearing it, and like that kind of thing. So it's that personal attribution. What about you?
It's really interesting because mine haven't really been brands. They've been more individuals, but it's kind of like you buy into the individual and the individual story. Yeah. So the first one is a guy called Brent Underwood who bought a ghost town in like Arizona. Cool. Or maybe Nevada. It's near California, sort of on the border. But like he bought it just as the pandemic was starting, and he's like built a YouTube channel around like how he's fixing it up. And like very shortly after he bought it, the hotel burned down, and that become like the story was like rebuilding the hotel. And then he goes in all like the mines in his YouTube videos. And then like it got to a point where he wrote a book, and I was like, I've got to buy the book. So like it's just because you sort of become part of that story. Yeah. And you're interacting with it and watching the videos regularly. Yeah. And you feel like you kind of know this guy, that by buying that book, you're like supporting him, I guess. And then it's just an interesting story. And then the second one, like there's two photos on the wall here. This is another YouTuber called it's called Jason Comerfeld, but the channel's called Grainy Days. It's a film photography channel, but I just love like his demeanour. Like he's quite dry sense of humour, but the pace of the videos are quite slow, and they're quite long videos, but they're really interesting, and I like the photos, and I just quite like feel like I would get on with him as a person, despite having not met him.
That's the thing,
so like whenever there's an opportunity to like buy a product, it's like, oh yeah, I'll buy that. Like I like the photos, and like that came up in a video, and I was like, I need to own that. But it's weird, like you feel like you're part of it, of a community. Yeah. Even down to like TV shows. It's just so weird.
I was just going to say that.
But like, I love The Simpsons, particularly the first 10 series. After that, it's rubbish. But like I've got a T-shirt with Billy and the Clonosaurus written on it, and it's exactly the same logo as Jurassic Park. So people first look at it and they're like, Jurassic Park, we're like, what's up with your T-shirt? But it's like a throwaway line in a Simpsons episode from like 30 years ago. So like people that are massive Simpsons fans will look at it and know it's Simpsons. Yeah. But everyone else will be like, what is that? Yeah. But because it's like a little tiny in joke that only like a small percentage of fans will get, like you feel like you're part of it. But like, I think a lot of TV shows are like that.
It's like The Traitors.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got to talk about The Traitors. Like,
I haven't watched the new series. I got well into the celebrity one. Is it good?
It's so good. There's so many more twists and turns. Okay. And that's the thing is like TV shows like Traitors, like Simpsons, some of the others. Yeah. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Doctor Who. You're part of a community. Pottery Throwdown, like
Bake Off.
Yeah.
Holby City.
You're part of a community.
Yeah.
And you get like the online community, you get like, so there are people like Traitors. There's obviously it's on at the moment, which is obviously going to date.
Yeah. Well, I think like towards the end of last year, the Celebrity Traitors was on.
Yeah.
But never as my father-in-law came round to watch an episode of TV.
Exactly.
So we could all watch it together as it went out.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's quite cool that like a TV show could do that, especially like 2025. Like that it would bring people together. And there's like people watching it in like cinemas and stuff, wasn't there? And like people all going around each other's houses to watch the finale of it.
Yeah,
that's really quite cool that a TV show
there's
can do
calls for pubs to show the traitors in the same way they show like football. Games. Because it's got that sense of community. And you've got like the figurehead of Claudia, who has a birthday the day after mine, I have to say. It's just like we're meant to be friends. And I loved, like, you get people who, like, I loved when we did our Coconut Christmas.
Yeah, it's good.
And I dressed as Claudia. Yeah. I love that element of, like, people instantly, apart from one person, I won't mention Beth's name, who didn't know who I was until, like, the last round. We're common. But it's that element of, it's instantly identifiable.
Yeah.
And she has become someone that people relate to because she just kind of like, she's part of the show.
Yeah.
She watches the whole thing on, she's got like in her dressing room, she's got like all the screens with the cameras. So she's watching what's going on. She's part of it. And so you feel like you can relate to her as a person. She's like the figurehead. If a franchisee brand does that, if a franchise brand does that and they have like a franchisor or a top franchisee who's almost like the figurehead, who someone can relate to, not necessarily emulate. Obviously, you've got a lot of people trying to dress like Claudia and that kind of thing. And, you know.
Yeah, if you've got like a person that everyone can look up to and relate to.
Is relatable, is human, is like just like raw, authentic, shows their emotions as well as showing the good times, the frustrations. If you've got someone like that, that's a powerful resource. And if you build that sense of community where people are kind of genuinely like, with Traitors, I have people messaging me to the point where I'm like, I've not seen it yet, do not tell me anything, no spoilers. But it's that sense of like, it drums up that community and you start to build that relationship before someone joins the brand. Because like you said with The Simpsons, you've got the in-jokes. People want to be part of a community. We've lost that over the last 100 years because obviously you had like pubs and football teams and churches. And
I think you've lost that like with the internet because not everyone's watching the same thing. So like, but like, it's quite nice to see it every now and again, like with Traitors Celebrity one. Like it was a weird thing, and I think it happens at like World Cups and Euros as well. Like people that never watch football. Watch. Like I remember when England lost the 2020 final. So it was in 2021. But like our neighbour, who's like 7-year-old girl, was like devastated. But like she'd never watched football before. But like if she had like watched football, like I've watched football for years, and I was just like, yeah, same old England. Like I had no expectations, so I was just like, they did well to get to a final.
I watch rugby, and I have got expectation because we have won.
Yeah, it's just like it was nice to get to a final. So,
but day. I think franchise brands can learn a lot from the way that football, rugby,
bringing people together,
bringing that community together. And it doesn't have to just start when someone joins the brand. It can be, you can build that community while someone is looking at your brand. You want to draw them in rather than keeping them at a distance. You don't want to give away everything. We've heard it said like that franchise recruitment is like dating. You don't want to throw everything at them and be like, marry me on the first date. It's just
building a relationship.
You've got to do it over time. You've got to do it properly and invest that time. Have someone in like the recruitment process who is prepared and able. He's a people person who knows how to invest time in someone to make them feel like they are valuable. And like, before come across salespeople, like I remember speaking to someone and they instantly like, you would say something, I said something in the first meeting and then in the second meeting, they were like, oh, you like done such and such, it looks different. And it's that sense of, oh, okay, they've actually taken the time, whether they've made notes or whatever, but they've taken the time to remember that personal detail and ask about it. And it's not just like, let me tell you all my stuff and I don't really care about your stuff. It's genuine. It's like, it kind of makes you feel important.
Yeah. Nice. I think we'll leave that there for this episode. That was good.
It was good.
Any sort of conversation about the traitors is going to be an interesting one. Cool. Well, thank you for watching this one. There are other episodes coming out. We'll see you next time.